Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining Glassdoor's live demonstration today on how to manage your employer brand. Just a few webinar tips for attendees before we get started. You can connect to audio using your computer's microphone and speakers, or you may select Use Telephone after joining the webinar. All lines will be muted to avoid background noise. And you can ask questions at any time by typing them into the questions panel, and we'll be going through all Q&A at the end of the webinar. Today, I'd like to introduce our featured speaker, Kelsey Hanger, who's a Senior Sales Development Representative here at Glassdoor, and I'll let Kelsey take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today and sharing with you some employer branding tips. Before we get started, please feel free to write down my email address, kelsey.hanger@glassdoor.com. Also my Twitter handle, _Kelsey Hanger. Also feel free to use the hashtag GDChat on any social to connect with us, ask questions, or share stories on your employer branding successes. Okay, so today we're going to go through the agenda, and this is what we're going to go over. We're going to go over the decision-making process of candidates today, tips on what makes a strong employer brand, and what Glassdoor has to offer you as the employer, and then finally we're going to do a live demonstration of the site. So what is the candidate decision-making process today? Well, I don't know about you all, but I am obsessed with Google search. I Amazon review everything. Before I go on a trip, I use TripAdvisor. I pretty much go on the website and make sure I do a ton of research before I apply for anything or buy anything. Well, consumers, we actually found, visit 3 websites at least before making a purchase. Choosing a job is really no different. We've actually found that job seekers use on average 18 sources before applying for a job. We all want transparency, and that's why Glassdoor is so unique. Just like Expedia for travel, Zillow for real estate, Glassdoor is bringing transparency to the workplace because we want candidates to come fully equipped to make the right decision about the company that they're going to apply for and hopefully work for many years and enjoy their time there. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the candidate journey on Glassdoor. From awareness all the way down to the hire, Glassdoor is affecting and influencing your candidates. Right at the top at awareness, let's say I find a job on just a random Google search. I'm going to go to Glassdoor to kind of briefly brush up on the company. But then all the way down from the hire, let's say you offer a position to a candidate, they're going to go back to Glassdoor and check out the benefits, the salary, the employee reviews, all that good stuff on Glassdoor. Okay, so let's talk about Glassdoor's value. We have over, at this point, 11 million reviews with 500,000 candidates. We are one of the fastest growing job sites, but more importantly, and this is my favorite and most important stat, 4 in 5 Glassdoor users are actively looking for jobs or open to better opportunities. Okay, so let's look at the candidate behavior today. 83% of candidates describe today's talent market as candidate-driven. Candidates are pretty wary of the employer message today, and because employees are actually 3 times more credible than the CEO, him or herself. This is because candidates are the voice of the reviews. They are giving an honest perspective on what it's like to work at your company. Okay, so let's go on to what is an employer brand. This is one of my favorite quotes. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon.com, famously said that a while back. And it's so true. Candidates are doing more and more research than ever before. So it's so imperative to develop a strong employer brand that you really want shared with your candidates and your fellow employees, so they spread the word of your company. So ask yourself, would current employees recommend your organization to a friend? What are job seekers saying about you on social? And finally, does everybody on the line know your company's Glassdoor rating? After we finish this webinar, I highly encourage everyone to go on, check out your company's reviews, check out your company's ratings. Is it correct? Is it on point, or is it way off? So our CEO also said this on the TV show Mad Money recently. Where you work is one of the most important decisions you'll make in your life. Well, I completely agree with him, and I think, and Glassdoor proves this, that candidates feel the same way. There are many factors that come into play, but Glassdoor is there to help your candidates make the right decision about where they want to work next. So this stat, I think, is very powerful. 69% of us wouldn't take a job with a company that had a bad reputation, even if we were unemployed. Even if we were unemployed, we wouldn't take a job with a company with a bad rep. This clearly shows that your reputation online is very, very important. Okay, so now we've done the live demonstration portion of the site. Bear with us as I go live. Hold on. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. So this is www.glassdoor.com. This is our homepage, and I want to first highlight this homepage highlight. So Lyft right now is our homepage highlight. They have partnered with us because they want to share more immediately to any candidate that comes online that this is a great place to work. Okay, I want to also make sure that everyone sees a green button at the bottom. It should pop up. I, unfortunately, already am a part of Glassdoor's. So when it pops up, there's a green button. It should be at the bottom right-hand side of the pane, and it says Work in HR or Recruiting. So if you click that, you can claim your company's profile. I highly, highly, highly encourage everyone listening to claim your company's profile by searching for your company in this search pane. And then at the bottom, you'll see that green button, which will ask for just a couple of pieces of information, like your email address. We want to make sure that you do, in fact, work for your company. So that's going to be verified. And then once that is, we'll give you access. So let's jump to Glassdoor and check out what a branded profile really looks like. Okay, so this is Glassdoor. Immediately you can see all of our branded content. Clearly everything is green with our logos. We've got all of our jobs here. It's a pretty happy and exciting page. But now I want to show you a company that isn't branded. We're going to do Spirit Airlines. All right, so Spirit Airlines, you can immediately see that there's no cover photo. The only kind of information or kind of tip that you get that this is Spirit Airlines is that one tiny little logo at the top. But pretty much after that, I've got companies, I've got jobs from other companies, I've got advertisements from other companies, and then the most important thing, the reviews are front and center. There's no real story from the company, and there's no employer brand here. It's just about the reviews from their employees. But now let's go to one of my favorite companies, Southwest Airlines. So immediately you can see that their cover photo is actually a video, which is awesome. I'm excited to work at this place, and I'm not even looking for a job. All of their jobs are here with their logo. It's very branded. I'm going to know immediately when I come to this site that Southwest is hiring, and hiring aggressively in places like Oakland, Dallas, San Jose, and probably much, much more. Got 163 jobs right now. Best places to work. If you are a company that's lucky enough to make our best places to work, feel free to put that on there. Show every candidate that comes on here that best places to work is something that's very important to you and your company. Okay, now I want to go to the Why Work For Us section. So all of these tabs are completely up to you. So clearly Southwest has some photos and some copy, but also some videos. And then after that comes the reviews. So clearly this is more of a balanced, two-sided story with the company sharing what they think is so great about their company, and then the employees sharing their side as well. So it's completely balanced, and I clearly know that Southwest is hiring. It's clearly a best place to work, and I've got some video and content to make sure that this is, the place that I'm going to want to work at. So now I'm going to go back to Glassdoor and share with you some analytics that we have behind the profile. So if everybody on this webinar claims their free employer account, and I said that right, it is free. So I encourage everyone to claim that profile. These are the types of analytics that you're going to get on the back end. Okay, so this is the dashboard. Immediately you're going to get kind of a one-stop shop snapshot of your employer brand. So I know that over 200,000 people came to our site last month. Our rating is a 4.1. 91% of us approve of Robert. And then followers. So we've got new followers. We've got 445. We've got a total of 8,000 people. Now, some of you may be wondering what followers actually mean. Followers are people that are interested in Glassdoor. So these are active either candidates or investors or just people interested in Glassdoor that want to get updates on your company. So this is an exciting feature that you can tell if more and more people are getting interested in your company. Okay, so now let's go to the employer branding portion. Here you can update a bunch of company details. So if you were to go to basic info and go into company details, logo, cover photo, about your company, you can update all of this information and it will be visible to anyone that comes to your Glassdoor profile. And this is all free. The logo is free. The cover photo is branded, like I said before. Remember Southwest's amazing video cover photo. But pretty much most of this kind of basic information we want to make sure is correct, so anyone that comes to your profile knows exactly where your company is, who the company is, and is this the right company to apply to. Next, let's go to jobs and recruiting pane. This is review management, excuse me. This is very important because this is where you can respond to any and all employee reviews as well as interview reviews. On the right-hand side, there are a couple of FAQs. Feel free to read those and get some information on how you should respond to these reviews. But I highly encourage everyone, once they claim their profile, to respond to pretty much every single review that's on your profile. Why, you may ask? Candidates, and I know I was the same way, even if it was a negative review, I was more interested in the response by the employer. So please, please respond to all those reviews, because it's going to help you in the long run for these candidates that are looking for honest answers and transparency in the workplace. Also, you can request more reviews. This is very important. I think that everyone should encourage their employees to respond to reviews. Okay, now we're going to go to check out some analytics. First, we're checking out profile activity. So as you can see, we've got a couple highs. We're dipping a bit in September this fall, but this is interesting because you can check out your traffic based on timeline. So in the last 36 months, has it increased? Has it decreased? Does it correlate with all the open jobs that are on your careers page? Technically, it should. If it isn't, then we need to get more content on your Glassdoor page, because nobody's really going there yet. But I'd wager a pretty strong bet that if you have open jobs on your careers page or you're actively recruiting elsewhere, you're going to see spikes on your Glassdoor page, because they're going to come there just like I did when I was looking for a job. They're going to check out the job. They're going to go straight to Glassdoor to verify, is this actually a good place to work? Okay, next we can do some candidate demographics. Okay, so once this loads, essentially with candidate demographics, it hasn't loaded yet, but it should. Okay, here we go. With candidate demographics, we actually track education, years of experience, gender, and age. Candidates contribute all of this content either when they create their Glassdoor profile or log in via Facebook. Okay, so look at all this. So for Glassdoor, most of us are college educated. Interestingly enough, 61% of Glassdoor, people interested in Glassdoor, are male. If we've got some, if your company is lacking female engineers, this is a great place to come to see if that's actually true, and then figure out a strategy with your account manager to get those jobs in front of female engineers. So top companies, these are companies that your candidates or people coming to your profile are also interested in. Top job titles associated with Glassdoor. So software engineer, account manager, so sales. This is true because we're hiring for all 5 of these titles currently. Top locations, Chicago and San Francisco. That fits because we have our headquarters are in San Francisco Bay Area, and then we've also just opened up an office in Chicago less than a year ago. So that's on point. If it's not, if your company is not, the top location, then you should talk to your account manager about getting your jobs in front of the right people so they're using the right locations. Okay, so that concludes the analytics part of the live demonstration. I'm going to go back to our deck, and I've got a couple more things to go over as far as what Glassdoor has to offer, and then we'll do some questions, so bear with us. All right, so here are a couple of our solutions that I wanted to highlight before we do some questions. So we actually have a couple options. We've got some display advertising, which enhances your profile. We've got multiple options for enhanced profiles. And then we have job advertising, which recruits for the right people. So you can actually, with display advertising, target your ideal candidates, support some of your hiring initiatives. So for example, like I said in the analytics part, female engineers, let's create a campaign to get in front of those female engineers. Next, we've got that enhanced profile. So essentially, I showed you with the Southwest profile, but it promotes your employer brand. So did you want to work for Southwest after that demonstration? I probably would, because it looks like a great place to work, and I know that they're hiring pretty aggressively right now. And then job advertising. It essentially amplifies your recruiting presence across all channels and devices. So we've got some analytics. I shared with you a few, but in the short term, we've got 3 kind of main analytics that we can give you all. We measure brand awareness. We can benchmark against competitors. And I didn't show you this, we can dive deeper into your industry and kind of share with you what other companies in your space are doing with Glassdoor and with recruiting in general. So we also have some 30-day job postings. This is an option for smaller companies with immediate needs. So if anybody on the line has less than 5 open positions, this might be a good option for you. It's essentially a pay per post method. So if you're interested, I can connect you with your account manager and you can kind of go through what the options are. But for any large or even mid-sized companies with more than 5 open roles, I'd love to connect you with your account manager to at least go over all the analytics and industry insights that we have and see if recruiting with us might be a good option. So how do we actually beat the competition? We actually give 2 times better applicant quality at a 30% lower cost per hire compared to traditional job boards. So if that doesn't pique your interest, I challenge you to listen to your account manager and see if this is actually possible and how we can help. So we already did the live demonstration, but I want to, before we get to your questions, again, please feel free to write those in that pane that Morgan mentioned at the beginning. Remember to write down www.glassdoor.com/employers. This is your one-stop shop for all the resources that Glassdoor has created specifically for you all, the employers. So we have ebooks, we have other webinars. We've got a webinar on recruiting next week. We've got one-pagers. We've got invites to, increase employee engagement. All of that good stuff is on www.glassdoor.com/employers. So now we are at the question portion.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Kelsey. We're going to dive into Q&A. Just as Kelsey said, if you have any live questions, please submit them to the question pane, and I'll begin reading some of those out. I started writing them down throughout the presentation, and one of the questions that we got a lot of was, people are wondering if these reviews on Glassdoor are truly authentic, and they're wondering, if I see a review and I think it's fake, how do I go about that, and what's the best process for responding to that?
Okay, so I get this a lot every time I do this webinar, and it's very important to make this very clear. At Glassdoor, we take our data integrity very seriously. It's a very complicated process on the back end, but any review that's posted gets reviewed through our moderation process. So we have a 2-touch process regarding content, which includes a technological and a human touch review. Meaning, if at any point during the technological review a flag is raised, it's going to get kicked to our human team of moderators, and they're going to vet this review against our community guidelines. We actually end up rejecting about 5 to 10% of the content that's submitted on our site. If you disagree or see something on our site that you think is fraudulent, please flag the review, and it's going to get kicked immediately to our human team of moderators.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that, Kels. So another question that we had was based on employers and what is the best way for an employer to be engaged on their Glassdoor profile?
So I hope that if the one thing that people walk away from this webinar is transparency. This is the reason why I joined Glassdoor, and it's near and dear to my heart. I encourage everyone to be transparent in a couple ways. Respond to all those reviews. I told you how to claim your profile, so start responding today. Make sure that all of your company info is updated and you're including photos every, 6 months, so they know what your company looks like and what you guys do. Also, encourage employee engagement. So I gave you in the analytics portion how to encourage employee reviews. Let's do a campaign on getting 50 more employees to write a review in the next month. And then also use all those Glassdoor analytics that I shared with you. So claim your profile, go to the Employer Center, check out your demographics, check out your traffic.
All right, thanks, Cal. So another question that was asked a few times here was, again, based on the reviews, if you're responding to the reviews as the employer, can you kind of go through the best practices again on that?
Okay, so this also is hammering home the idea of transparency. So I love that the attendees today are interested in kind of engaging with employees on the site. So at Glassdoor, we believe that everyone is entitled to their opinion, both employee and employer. The employee has a right to share, and the employer has a right to respond. So we actually end the conversation there to prevent a long chain of conversation. But always encourage your employer to take the conversation offline to further discuss with the reviewer should it be something that needs attention. So respond to every single review and be honest. As a candidate, I want to see that this company may not be perfect, but they're working on their problems, they're finding solutions, and they're wanting a better place for every single employee at their company. That's what we want.
Awesome, thanks, Kels. We have about time for about 1 or 2 more questions. I have another one about owning your Glassdoor account. Who should be responsible for owning different parts of the account, and who does get access to their free employer account? Is that for everyone at the company, or who kind of can do that?
Okay, so as far as access goes, I showed you that everyone can claim your free employer account on Glassdoor. Glassdoor's goal is to have every single company in the world claim their free account. But once that happens, we need to verify that you do in fact work at that company and that you have enough access at your own company to have access into Glassdoor. So the first person that needs to claim it will go through a moderation process. Once that happens, that main contact can go into the Employer Center and invite their other coworkers, their peers, to join the Employer Center. As far as who else should own different parts of the account, that's kind of up to you. So I work with a lot of clients that have both HR teams on it and marketing or communications teams on it. So let's say the HR team is responsible for responding to the reviews, but the marketing team or communications is in charge of creating a strong employer brand, whether that is crafting the cover photo or adding more photos, creating a great and kind of enticing company description that is, really telling the story of why it's so great to work at company X. So it's up to you, but I encourage multiple teams to get involved with Glassdoor because it's not just a recruiting site. That's one thing I'd like to hammer home, and I hope that everyone on this webinar agrees. Glassdoor is not just a job board. It's a place for candidates to come, but it's also a place for investors to check out a company or, a mom intrigued by where her son is working. It's anyone. It's Americans coming to Glassdoor to check out what it's like to work at thousands of companies around the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Kels. Looks like we're at time. Want to thank everyone online for joining us today. We will be sending out a recorded version of this webinar on Monday morning. If you have any follow-up questions, please jot down Kelsey's email, kelsey.hanger@glassdoor.com, and we can answer any of those questions that we weren't able to address today. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Friday.